Now we are ready to start our lesson. Yes, indeed, today, class, we are learning about dental health. If you don't know, my name is Mr. Aegis. I will be your health teacher for the evening. I'm a Vtuber, as you can see, a badger, because that's my school mascot. I stream first-time playthroughs, retro games, indie games, but I also give health lessons. Today, we are going to learn about dental health. There is a bit of a difference between dental health and oral health. Oral health also includes your jaw, your palate. We're going to be talking about dental health. Dental meaning of teeth, about your teeth. You probably heard the term al dente, to the teeth. A little bit of resistance to your noodles when you bite them. Yeah, anyway. We're going to be talking about our teeth, our gums, our tongue, and the oral cavity. We're going to go over a few numbers first, because I want you to know how important it is. I have a few questions to start with. What do you think the percentage of children under the age of 11 is that have cavities? And what do you think the percentage of kids under 19 is that have cavities? Fox says 47%. That's the Star Trek number. Rouse says a whole lot. Fox brings their estimate down to 37%. Got a couple of guesses there. Go ahead and keep guessing. 37 is under 19. Okay. Okay. What about people over the age of 65 who have complete tooth loss, who have lost all of their teeth? Only 65, the retirement age. What do you think? Rao estimates 50% plus for both groups. What about gum disease? Ghost Pepper says 42% tooth loss, 42% of 65 and older. Fox says complete tooth loss is 45%. I hope none of you are using ChatGPT to get the answers, because they're probably wrong. 30% for the olds, says Rao. And what about gum disease? How many people over the age of 30 or over 65 have gum disease? And we'll talk about what that is and what it means later on. Can you have a cookie if you win? Yeah, I will send a big digital cookie to you. Maybe we'll do our mindful eating exercise again in another stream. 50% Sleepy Tea estimates. Gum disease. How prevalent, how common do you think disease is? Ghost Pepper says 60% for the 30 to 64. Rao says 60%. Mindful eating was your first stream, Snowbox. That's interesting. That was quite a while ago. You've been here for a while. Gun disease, what, like 90%? 89, says Sleepy Tea. Okay. How about dental visits? What percentage of adults and kids saw the dentist in the last year? What percentage of us went and saw the dentist at some point in the last year? No Fox, your grandma has all her teeth still? Good genes, good genes. I don't remember what her teeth were like, but my great-grandma lived to be 93 and she had a full head of luxurious black hair until she was like 70. UPT says 5%, which, yeah, that is pretty low. 72 Snowfox, wow. Yeah, usually lose at least one or two teeth by then from wear and tear. Rao's optimistic estimate is 15%. All right, well, let's check on the answers. Let's see how close you all got. 45% of children under the age of 11 had a cavity in the last year. And 57% under the age of 19. Well over half of kids will have a cavity before they hit 19. and 1 in 14 people over the age of 65 have lost all of their teeth. It's about 7%. So no fucks, you're right. Yeah, you did guess 47. You were right in the sweet spot there. If we were playing The Price is Right, where they have that game, the yodeling game where the little mountain climber goes up, you'd be right in the sweet spot. I should stop making so many references about old things. You want your cookie, please? I will have your cookie ready for you at the end of the class. Yeah, about 7% of people over the age of 65 lose all of their teeth. For gum disease, half of people over 30 have some stage of gum disease. Can you believe that? 1 in 2. Once you hit 30, about 50% of us will have gum disease. It's 70% once you hit 65. Those are pretty high numbers. But there is some good news. Dental visits are actually much higher than you might imagine now. 65% of adults did get to see a dentist in the last year. It might have just been for a cleaning, but they went. And 85% of kids were able to. You were way off on the dental visits route. You were pretty close on the rest of it, though. The dental visits one is pretty surprising. Fox, you say you're not helping any of those statistics? You're an outlier? You're a statistical anomaly? Gonna throw your data out of the research? All right, well, now we've got a background about some of the numbers. Well, sometimes some of these things are out of your control. Oh, hello, the timing is silly. You say you just got back from the dentist today and you got gingivitis. We're never told that you have to brush your gums too. Yeah, you do have to brush the old gums as well. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Sorry, I almost missed your message. I gotta keep reminding myself that YouTube messages come in differently than Twitch does. Yeah, Lost Draft. Great to have you back with us. Yes, sometimes these things are out of your control. Sometimes dental problems can be a result of genetics or upbringing. Sometimes things are out of your control. So you want to control what you can. All kinds of very serious issues can arise. This is not just about some of the statistics we were talking about earlier, which is still pretty serious, cavities and tooth loss. But poor dental hygiene can lead to serious bacterial infections, viral infections. In fact, I think it was Queen Elizabeth, not the most recent Queen Elizabeth, but the previous Queen Elizabeth before there, they renamed themselves the same, but whatever. Died of a tooth infection because bacteria got in there. Root canals can result. People can even experience respiratory problems from poor dental health. And even, as we're finding out more in the research, it can lead to heart problems. Systemic inflammation can rise dramatically if you have poor dental health. It's a lot more serious of a topic than people might imagine. That is scary, Sleepy. Yeah, you're right. It is some scary stuff, but that's why we're giving this lesson. Because it is important stuff. It's not just, oh, brush your teeth. You know, there's some important stuff that people don't always learn in health class. Or learn from their parents, because their parents didn't know either. We do have an ad coming up, so I am going to hold off on the next slide. We'll let that ad run. And then we'll get back to the lesson. Those of you who don't see the ad, we'll just chat for a little bit. Hope your day has been going well. If you just joined us and we didn't get to chat earlier, it's a very good thought, Sleepy Tea. You can control what you can with just a little bit better dental care on your own. Yeah, it is important to be compassionate with people who may not be able to get dental care, can't get to a dentist. You had a friend with an infected tooth for several months, no insurance. That can be quite bad. Head have yanked. Ooh, yeah. Having teeth pulled, not fun. Yeah, that's right, Snowfox. Now that you have a sub, you do not have to get the ad. Pregnancies do take a toll on teeth. Yes, they can severely impact the health of your bones. Bit Shepherd, every so often you hear about new stuff in connection between gut flora and brain stuff. It is actually all quite connected, isn't it? Your teeth are part of your digestive system. Pepper says it important to brush after every meal, you ask. After every meal? No, we'll talk about that. Found the ad route? Or did the ad find you? The ad for healthcare.gov. Really? You got an ad for healthcare? Interesting. Maybe they're targeting health-related streams. All right, now let's resume. We can't fix the lack of oral health care that many people have. At least we can't do it alone. Many of the reasons that people can't get to the dentist are not through any fault of their own or ours. It can be an extraordinary cost. And they may have health insurance, but it doesn't cover dental care. They may be very busy, and it can be difficult to spend the time on dental care or getting a dental appointment. And of course, there are enormous disparities in dental care across many different groups. And we can't fix those huge gaps alone. There are about 2 million plus emergency room visits every year for dental-related problems. And the vast majority of those are completely preventable. So what do we do to prevent them? Well, in many cases, it's not health insurance. If all this stuff is so important, if it's this important, why isn't it covered by health insurance? Well, in part, it is because of the history of dental care, the history of dentistry. You see the little barber pole on the screen. Do you know why? Do you know why we would reference dental health in relation to a barber pole? Barber? Why that might be. And you see the old sign there. Haircuts, shaves, baths, and teeth pulled. An old sign from the Wild West. And the cocaine tooth drops. Yes, yes. All sorts of old-timey surgery, Bit Shepherd. Yeah, you see, in the distant past, the 1800s and before, in many places, dental care was done by a barber. There wasn't a dentist that you would go to. That wasn't a medical field. You would go to someone who had some equipment, who was, decent with their hands, had a steady hand, like a barber, someone who gave shaves, and they would pull your teeth. Yes, Empress, really. Barbers were, in many cases, the place that people went to get their teeth pulled, to have dental care. And Raul, you're not wrong. Teeth pulling got lumped in with the might as well cut it off stuff. Hey, you can live without that tooth, not that big a deal, just yank it out. Yeah. Barbers sometimes did that kind of ad hoc surgery. So in the history of dentistry, it was often disconnected from the general concept of medicine. Medicine, the field of doctoring, the medical profession, wasn't connected to dentistry much of history. They were completely separate things. Medicine was considered necessary, something you had to have. Dentistry was a luxury. Yeah, some historical ouchies there, Sleepy Tea. And Flapjack was not making it up, Empress. No, not at all. Lost draft, you say when you were 12, your cousin got the floss string to a Hot Wheels car, pulled the car back, and your tooth came off. Yeah, that's a classic. We love that when you put the string attached to the door and you slam the door and it pulls the tooth. Good times. Yeah, the disconnect between dentistry and medicine in part led to dentistry and dental care not being covered with health insurance. But there was also all of the quacks and amateurs in that period of time with snake oil, and, cocaine tooth drops. And since it was done by amateurs, barbers, for example, dental care was not looked on very professionally by the rest of the medical profession. In fact, many of the early attempts to get dental care connected with real professional medical care were rejected. Major universities didn't want anything to do with these amateurs. Rao wants to bring back the medicinal cocaine. Well, it is still used in some places as a numbing agent. But it doesn't just have to do with the history of dentistry and the origins of dentistry. Also the origin of insurance itself. Insurance in the past was generally for big events, big catastrophic problems, things that would bankrupt someone, big serious incidents. That's what insurance was for. It was meant to cover you so that you didn't lose everything in the event of a major problem. So for small things, like, say, dental care, insurance just didn't apply back in the day. Obviously, that's changed in our perception and our medical care, regular visits, checkups, and all that. Prescriptions, they are covered by health insurance. But dental care has lagged behind a lot. And in terms of the big insurance companies who don't want to have to pay out claims, dental issues are considered less severe. They're considered less crucial to get done right away. Many tooth problems, they can wait. They don't need to be done immediately, right away. But that just leads to bigger problems down the road. There's a perception that these issues are just not that important. It's just your teeth. You can still eat and live without them. But as we just talked about, there's some very critical, very important things that happen if you don't have good dental care. Oh, we have a head pat routine. There we go. Let's get the Badger pat. Let's get Pat the Badger up. And you're right, Ralph. Now we still lose everything in the event of catastrophic injuries, but we also have to pay massive deductibles and, our premiums. Good stuff. We love it. Thank you, healthcare. And of course, that last point there, money and lobbying. Obviously, those are going to be a big impact on whether or not health insurance covers dental problems. And we could talk about eye health too. In fact, I do plan on giving a lesson on eye care and eye health at some point. These are very connected. I used to make eyeglasses at a store, so I know a little bit about that. Anyway, these are some of the reasons why health insurance does not cover dental care in the modern American experience, at least. You might be in Europe and have a different experience. So what can we do? Like we said, you can't control everything. We can't change everything. Some things we do need professional care for, but we can change some things. We can prevent some problems, like cavities and infections, gum disease. We can prevent a lot of tooth decay. Largely. Not always. We don't want to judge anyone and think that it's their own fault, which is a huge problem that a lot of people have in the modern world in our perceptions. We see someone who has some kind of problem and we automatically assume that it's their own fault, that they deserve it because it's their own actions, consequences of their own mistakes. Not always the case. Should not make such assumptions. But we have this figure here of the young person growing up into an adult. And I want to bring this up because this is an aspect that's not necessarily about dental care, but in a broader sense. And hello, Nomi. Yes, hello to the sensei, that's me. How do I want to say it? These things that we're about to talk about, they are a matter of discipline. These things that we're about to talk about are a matter of discipline. It can be difficult to make ourselves do all the time, every day. It can feel like a chore. But we are the ones who need to make those decisions. Tell me you're being forced into making conclusions you're not fully comfortable with. You overdid stuff. Empress say you as a kid sucked the air into your teeth and had a cavity. Ooh, that's painful. Yeah, you get the air rushing into the cavity. Ouch, into the exposed nerves. Let's talk about cavities first. Probably the most common thing that you've heard of and know about. You may have had some. What is a cavity? Well, in the most simple terms, it's a hole in your tooth. It's a hole in your tooth. A hole in the bucket at the bottom of the sea. Good Shepherd, yeah, failure to develop the habit of taking care of your teeth, you will regret it. You will regret it, trust me. How do we get cavities? How do we get cavities? How do we get holes in this part here? You see this? This is the enamel, the covering of the tooth. How do we get holes in there that allow air and bacteria into the softer parts, into this pulp full of nerves and blood vessels? Sleepy Tea, you've already gotten 100% cavity fillings. Youch. Food particles digging in, Rao suggests. In part, yes. Bacteria that live in your mouth and that get into your mouth from things that you eat or chew on, suck or lick or whatever it is. They feed on, they thrive on your food that you eat that gets stuck on your teeth. It's food for them too. Especially sugary foods, starchy foods and drinks. They eat these foods and drinks that are coating your teeth. You're giving them food. They eat these foods and they turn them into sugars. Turn these sugars into acidic compounds. That's the waste product. And these acids, they mix with your spit in your mouth. It forms a paste, basically, that sticks to your teeth. And that is called plaque, if you've not heard that term before. It's stuck to your teeth, and if it becomes really hard, that hardened plaque is called tartar. So you've heard of those terms, I'm sure, plaque and tartar. And this paste that can then harden coats your teeth. It gets all over your teeth, and it dissolves this coating, this beautiful white coating that protects all of this stuff, all this pulp, all these blood vessels. So that's a cavity, and it opens up your tooth to infection, opens it up to bacteria, viruses, food particles that get in there and can irritate your teeth. What about gum disease? What about gum disease? You've heard of gum disease. You've heard of gingivitis. What the heck is gingivitis anyway? Well, let me ask you a question. Do your teeth bleed when you brush your teeth? Do your gums bleed when you brush your teeth? Every time, Ralph says. You find that your mouth is full of blood? Sleepy Tea sometimes. The Shepherd says not anymore. I think that's a good thing for you. Unless you just don't have any more blood. But your gums should not be bleeding when you brush your teeth. Should not be bleeding. Sometimes mine do too. But you don't want that to happen. That's not supposed to happen. That's not the natural reaction. When you brush them hard, Empress, you say, that can happen. This, on the far left here, is a normal tooth. And the way the gums butt right up against the tooth. But if you get that plaque, you get that acid paste that coats your teeth, that stuff is gross. And it inflames the gums around it. And it eats away at the gums. And that inflammation and that eating away makes those gums very sensitive. And that can make them bleed when you brush. And that is called gingivitis. That is the earliest stage of what is called periodontitis. Periodontitis. Plaques inflame your gums, and your gums can bleed very easily. But as it gets worse, it can even start to eat away at the bones in your gums. Eat away at the jaws that your teeth are connected to. That's pretty serious. So if your teeth are bleeding when you brush, you have this early stage of gingivitis, that's a sign that you should really be following the proper protocols for your dental health, which we'll be talking about shortly. So this lesson is for you. I was hesitant about posting this, showing a diagram of what a root canal is, but I think we're going to do it. It's brief, it's only a minute or two, because I want you to see how important it is. Because if your teeth get this kind of infection, if you have periodontitis and your gums are weakened and the jawbone underneath is weakened, and that pulp can get infected, full of nerves and blood vessels, which is very painful, you might end up needing a root canal. I did not want to put an actual root canal because that would be too gross, and I don't want to gross people out. So we're just going to play this animation of it. Yeah, that seems pretty bad. It sucks, doesn't it? Here's one where they have to replace a tooth. That giant drill drilling right down into your jawbone.
One or more prosthetic teeth. In this case, a titanium screw is integrated
and screwing it right into the jaw.
Takes 4 to 6 months, after which an abutment and ceramic crown are attached.
You've been through that a few times, Sleepy Tea? Ouch. Sorry to hear that. Are wisdom teeth bad, Empress? They're not bad. It's just that you may not have room in your jaw for it. And Duke Wolfrain, you see, whenever you brush your teeth, you don't see any blood. Most likely because you brush twice a day. Very good. Yes, see, you don't see any blood because you are taking some of the proper precautions. Good, good. That's a no thank you from me, Just Wes. Yeah. You need to floss, Rao? You will after this. Yeah, if you notice, they dig into the tooth, they hollow it out with a drill. They stuff tubes down there to clean it out. They remove all of the blood vessels and nerves. Not a good experience. These are very painful problems. These are not small issues. Yes, dental care is not considered important by many, because they may seem to be small problems. Oh, it's just a toothache. Oh, my teeth are just yellower than I would like. These can lead to very serious, painful problems later on. And of course, your teeth affect your nutrition. If your teeth hurt, you're not going to be eating the same way that you normally do. And something that is not generally considered by a lot of people is tooth problems, dental care problems, teeth problems, and worsen mental health problems, and make you more depressed. And it can increase the risk of serious health problems otherwise, like we talked about at the start. Heart problems, respiratory issues. This graph here that you see, this is a graph of survival rate of cardiovascular disease. Whether or not a person has good oral health care or poor oral health care. And you see how survival rates plummet with poor health care, or dental health care. These are not small issues. These are actually pretty important. The Bio Steampunk is rating with a party of 6.
Please let this be a normal field trip.
Let's get on the school bus. Welcome. Come on in, find your seats. Thank you. Let's get a shout out to our friend Bio Steampunk. My name is Mr. Aegis. I will be your health teacher for the evening. I'm a real health teacher, and I stream health lessons like this one, and indie games, retro games, all that kind of stuff.
I am.
Yes, let's
I
see
am.
this little
I'm
clip
writing
from
down
the bio.
score right now, so it's gonna take a bit.
Why don't you just
What were
make
you
a
playing?
screenshot?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
did take a
what were you doing?
screenshot. That's why I got the scores.
Hope you had
It
fun.
took too long to.
Hope you get some rest if you need to. You're playing
Ah, yes,
Golf?
screenshots.
golf with your friends?
There is a difference.
Oh, it's an old clip. I don't know why Twitch does that. It picks the oldest clip. But I hope you had a good time, and thank you for joining us. We're in the middle of a little lesson on dental care. We were just talking about root canals, so you got to miss that part. You got to miss the root canal one. Probably for the best. Dinner is waiting. Good. Have some dinner and then brush your teeth out. Yes, follow along, join my classroom, follow us here, and follow BioSteampunk if you're not already following them. Yes, we're just talking about how dental care or oral health can lead to very serious, very painful problems in the future, and you see a precipitous drop in survival rate with poor oral health care as you get older. Prevention, prevention, prevention. Oh, thank you for the bits and the dodgeballs hitting me in the face. So, we're going to talk about brushing and flossing, rinsing, your diet and lifestyle. So I want you to pay attention. This is important stuff. And that little snippet of this when I said earlier that this is about good discipline. And I want to reiterate that and add something to it. These types of habits that I want you to build, they're not just about your dental care. This is about everything that you should be doing to improve your health and wellness, to take care of yourself. And just as importantly, perhaps even more importantly, doing these kinds of things can improve your mental health. Why is that? Why do you think establishing good habits, beyond the health issues that they might help with, why do you think that having these kinds of good routines, following through with things that you want to do each day like this, why do you think that might improve mental health? It's not obvious, so I don't expect that you all get it. But Bit Shepherd did. Yes. It's a feeling of self-mastery. It can give you a sense of control. It can make you feel like you can do this. You can follow through. So many things might be out of your control. So many things might be beyond your ability. But at least this one thing you have control over. You have mastery over. And if you have mastery over yourself, you can obtain mastery over other things in your life. So self-doubt, learned helplessness, they can be improved in some way by establishing good habits like this. And you might as well, because these things will also help your physical health. Establishing a nighttime routine like this, or your daily habits like this, can also give you better sleep. You have a nighttime routine. We've talked about sleep health so much here. Tell your body that, hey, now is the time for sleep. Sleepy T says it would boost confidence in yourself and reduce body image issues. Yes, absolutely. Naomi says that they could use less confidence in your abilities. You are generally very confident. I mean, you have said very clearly that you are going to invent something that will make you very rich. And obviously us too. You have a pink toothbrush, Snowfox. Good. If it makes you happy. If it brings joy, as Marie Kondo would say. Does it spark joy? Let's talk about brushing. Obviously, this is the big one. This is what you might have tuned in to see. Talking about brushing. How to brush. How should you brush your teeth? Are you doing it wrong? Maybe. Well, let's start with the brush. The first thing you need. Can't brush your teeth without a toothbrush. Don't forget your toothbrush. As the Hitchhiker's Guide says, and what type of toothbrush should you have? Well, the ADA, the American Dental Association, their suggestion, their recommendation is that you have a soft bristled brush. Some people like harder bristles. They feel like it cleans the teeth more. It makes them whiter, brushes off the tooth stuff, the gross stuff on your teeth way better. But you shouldn't need that. The suggestion, the recommendation is soft bristles. It doesn't matter whether it's a manual toothbrush or an automatic, one of electric toothbrushes. And the simplest is usually the best. Usually you want a pretty simple toothbrush. You don't need something fancy that has, features, I guess, whatever features they talk about. You don't need something with like the curved handle or, special rubber grips or whatever. You don't need that. That's just marketing. And also, very importantly, it should be affordable. It should be something that you don't feel bad about replacing every, say, 2 or 3 weeks. I don't know how many toothbrushes you're buying in a year, but it should be more. You should replace your toothbrush maybe every 2 weeks. Toothbrush was 99 cents, Snow Fox. Yeah, that's good. And it doesn't matter. Get yourself a nice dollar store soft bristled toothbrush. It doesn't really matter. I mean, if you want one that has, the special shaped bristles at the end, like here, okay, sure. Maybe get one that's $2. Empress, you ask about the electronic toothbrushes. There's nothing bad about them at all. The ADA does not recommend either manual or auto. They say it doesn't really matter for them. And I agree. As long as you are going through the proper procedures, it's just bristles going over your teeth. If an electric toothbrush helps you do it for the amount of time you should, great. Because, yep, as Bit Shepherd says, there's timers on them that can help you remember how long that you should be brushing. They can also be very helpful for people who have hand tremors or difficulty with their hand strength. Rao, you've had yours for like a year. Throw it out. Throw it out or use it for cleaning the toilet or whatever else you could use a toothbrush for. I use old toothbrushes for like cleaning gaps in stuff in the kitchen. Yeah, get rid of it. Please do. Go to the dollar store, get a dollar toothbrush, or steal one. I don't care. I'm not your parent. I'm not a cop. But it still works? Well, it may still work, but it's probably got some gross stuff on it. But then again, we also have to talk about toothpaste. Well, there are a couple different kinds of toothpaste we can talk about. Fluoride is one of the toothpaste types. There's toothpaste for sensitive teeth, and there's toothpaste that is said to be whitening to help you get a whiter smile. But what about these? What's the right one for you? Let's first talk about fluoride, because this is an issue that for some people is controversial. It should not be, but for some people it is, so let's talk about it. What is fluoride? Fluoride is a naturally occurring compound, that strengthens enamel. It remineralizes it. It helps the minerals that coat your teeth, that make up your enamel, be stronger and to resist decay, resist holes that let bacteria in. If you catch tooth decay early enough, fluoride toothpaste can help reverse it. It's a pretty solid thing to do. So why don't people do it? I mean, as you see here, over the course of time that we have been doing fluoridated water, putting fluoride in the water supply, we've seen a 25% reduction in tooth decay. That's a pretty significant amount. That's 1/4 difference. 1/4 of tooth decay has been eliminated by the use of fluoridated water. And we've been doing it for a long time. It's not like there isn't good data on it. Data, whatever you prefer. And for every $1 we invest, for every $1 that we invest in fluoridated water system, it saves us about $38 worth of healthcare. Oh, welcome, enemy. Welcome, enemy. Yeah, we are a little bit earlier today. I'm going to start experimenting with doing our lessons a little bit earlier in the day. Some people are busy and on a Saturday night. I mean, not me. I don't have much of a social life. Anyway, yes. Fluoridated water has been a major improvement in U.S. dental health. So why do people feel that there's a controversy about it? Well, as Bit Shepherd actually mentioned there, yeah, there was some conspiracy stuff about how it was being added to the water supply to brainwash people, as if we needed to do that. Oh, it allows people to be tracked or something, as if they can't track you anyways. There's been concern over excessive fluoride ingestion, leading to fluorosis. But that's very rare. Consuming enough fluoride to actually cause problems, as Nomi said, the negative side effects, is very unlikely. These concerns lack support, and only if you are consuming them at very high concentrations and very high amounts will you then see some symptoms, like Nomi suggested, teeth yellowing, suggesting that your concentrations might be high. But that's not very common, not very likely. And it's not something that you're probably ever going to have to deal with, or anyone you've ever met. Fluoride in the water is safe. And it is a massive improvement in our dental health. Snowfox has an on-topic question, and you know that you can always ask. In fact, I was talking earlier outside of class. There was discussion on the social medias where someone had moved to Portland, Oregon. And they noticed that people seemed to have much worse dental care, or much worse dental health. Their teeth seemed much worse there. Snowfoxy asked, does toothpaste price matter if it contains fluoride? We'll talk about specific toothpaste types, but generally not. You can look at the, ingredients of a generic toothpaste on the back and compare them to the ingredients on the back of an expensive toothpaste. And in all likelihood, they're just going to be the same. Yes, there was a discussion on social media about someone who moved to Portland, Oregon, and noticed that the people there seemed to have much worse tooth health. They could tell. They looked worse. And apparently that's a thing called Portland mouth. Called Portland mouth because Portland was a center of this controversy and got rid of fluoridated water. And the tooth health suffered so badly that now they're known for bad teeth. So, someone who moves from Portland to somewhere else, you can often tell. If you move to Portland or you visit Portland, you might be able to tell. And it might be something that was completely preventable if they hadn't resisted fluoridated water. And honestly, other dental issues are so much more pressing. They're so much more serious. Nomi says that Portland mouth, there's a joke there no one would get. Probably not. I mean, maybe I would, depending. We've known each other so long. But that is the information on fluoride in general. So what about specifically toothpaste? Well, the ADA recommends fluoride toothpaste. You know, Fox, you say you got 49-cent toothpaste for the same price, or for the same size as a $2 name brand? Exactly. Exactly. The ADA recommends fluoride toothpaste, which is anti-cavity. They recommend against anything that has flavorings or sweeteners. You don't need sweeteners in your toothpaste. It's toothpaste. It's paste that cleans your teeth. Why does it need to taste like something? Fluoride does help your mouth. By protecting your teeth, by rebuilding the enamel on your teeth empress, you are lessening the likelihood of getting infections. PPT, you have sensitive fluoride anti-cavity toothpaste, absolutely. If it's a fluoridated toothpaste and it has the sensitivity ingredients, you're good to go. Enemy say children's bubblegum flavored toothpaste. Yeah, there is that to help kids like brushing their teeth. After the age of 6 or so, you really shouldn't need it. Ivy, yes. Hello, Ivy, our resident goat. Or sheep. I forget which one. The things to avoid in toothpaste are things that you might be allergic to. Some toothpastes include essential oils. And I'm not going to get into that. I know there are some people who swear by essential oils for a lot of different things. I'm not going to get into their effectiveness. We've talked about some things like this in our supplement lesson. We'll talk about that again. But the reason you should avoid it is that it can be something you're allergic to. Duco Wolfrain. You thought mouthwash was to eliminate certain bacteria after you brush your teeth. Oh, you're going to like our next slide then. We're going to talk about that. You want to avoid anything that has essential oils in it, if only because of the potential for allergy reactions. And anything that has fragrances. You don't need a fragrance in your toothpaste. Avoid that. Last point here on charcoal. Charcoal has been sort of a boom. A lot of people are using charcoal toothpaste. Some people are even using charcoal bristles on their toothbrush. The idea being that charcoal can help break up and clean your teeth better. They break up the stuff that gets stuck on your teeth and help to clean them. But charcoal can be quite abrasive, and it's not recommended by the American Dental Association. Sensitivity toothpaste, as some of you talked about using, if they're also fluoridated toothpaste, they're just regular fluoridated toothpaste that has ingredients to reduce pain sensation, to reduce your sensitivity. Usually that's potassium nitrate. There are other ingredients that some sensitivity toothpaste use, but the one that the ADA says is the most effective and safe is potassium nitrate. So if you're buying a toothpaste and you have sensitive teeth, or you're worried about it, find a fluoride toothpaste that has potassium nitrate, and you're good to go. Enemy asks, is charcoal for your teeth like an exfoliant for your skin? Interestingly, I think that's sort of the same idea. Like you can get charcoal body wash, which isn't really a big problem because it's just for cleaning your skin. But charcoal in bristles or toothpaste is not recommended because you don't want to wear off the enamel. Of course, if you have sensitive teeth, you want to try to address the root cause of that. The root cause, get it? Root your teeth. The root of your teeth. And the root cause is usually tooth decay. Addressing that will help reduce your sensitivity, but until then, you can use sensitivity toothpaste to help out. Of course, we do have to touch on whitening toothpastes. Right, Nomi, yeah, it's very reactive. You want to clean your teeth, but you don't want to clean your teeth off. Like, you want to exfoliate your skin, but you don't want to take the skin off. Yeah, you could use like a loofah to exfoliate your skin, but you don't want to use sandpaper. Yes, whitening toothpastes, they're generally safe. If you get a reputable brand of whitening toothpaste, it's going to be safe. It's going to be fine generally. They can be abrasive, however, because they are trying to whiten your teeth by getting rid of so much of the stuff on them. So you want to focus on the health of your teeth first. Address the root cause again. And the root cause is plaque and tartar being left on your teeth and staining them. And as your enamel wears off, where we saw here, picture of the tooth here, as the enamel wears off, you could see that yellowish layer underneath more. So yeah, address the root problems, root causes of your teeth coloration. But, as some of you were asking about, we're going to get to mouthwash. But first, I want you to watch this short animation. I am Root. Good one, Rob. We need to talk about how to properly brush your teeth. Are you doing it wrong? Maybe so. Let's see how you are actually supposed to brush your teeth. Let me ask you first, though. How do you brush your teeth? What do you do? What's your procedure? What's the motion you use? Where do you start? Where do you end? Direction you go? That kind of stuff. CPT, you do left and right brushing from sides, back and front. Ivy goes side to side, or usually in little circles. Yep. Hear that a lot in recommendations. Go around the front and hit the back of them in reverse order. Shepherd goes side to side and let the electric do the uppy downy. Uppies, uppies. Okay. Yeah, typically I see that sort of you do sort of mini circles. Duco, you first go back and forth and then circulate. Yeah, you do that sort of back and forth and little circles. Everybody seems to develop their own method. Wow, you think your technique is good? Consistency, that's the trouble. Yeah, sometimes we just rush it, right? Sometimes we just rush. You do tight loops, hit the front of the teeth, the back of the and top of the gums, caps, much of the back sides. Snowfox is very complicated. Do you have like an algorithm that tells you which directions to go? All right, so we're going to watch a little animation. Again, I don't want to show people actual teeth. That actually kind of grosses me out too. I don't like seeing the inside of people's mouths. I couldn't be a dentist. Oh, you scrub your tongue? Oh, okay, that's good. We're going to check out how they think we should do it. Oh. Wow, that went way farther than it should. Okay. Just trying to get the how to brush your teeth.
In this video, we'll show you the best way not only to brush your own teeth, but also how to easily brush the teeth of others. Toothbrushing should be carried out twice a day, in the morning and last thing at night. We must remember that not everyone can brush their own teeth. But when brushing other people's teeth, the principles are the same. Please remember that toothbrushing takes a full 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes.
A full 2 minutes. A full 2 minutes. Get the volume up. Actually, let's just open it separately. Easier. We'll put the speed on a little bit slower so we can get a good. A whole 2 minutes? Yeah, that is 6 breaths. That is 6 full breaths, bitch ever. You're right. Your toothbrushing should take a 2 full minute period.
The toothbrushing takes a full 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Use a small-headed, medium texture bristles toothbrush with a small amount of fluoride.
See that pea-sized amount that you probably heard you're supposed to be using? Not completely coating the toothbrush, which some people do. So might even see that in commercials. where it's like a giant blob of toothpaste on it? Yeah, like this. This is often what you see in like toothpaste commercials. Don't do that. This is not what you need. Yeah, a big swooping curve. Like you know how they do with ice cream commercials. It's a big honking glop. Gargantuan log of toothpaste enemy. Yeah, this is not what you need. Don't do that.
Fluoride toothpaste.
A small pea-sized amount.
Start by tilting the toothbrush against your teeth so the bristles are at a 45 degree.
Do you do this? Or do you do that straight parallel to your tooth? Most people go parallel. This is only a 2-minute video, know me. Not too much detail. Just tilt the brush a little bit. Just don't do it parallel. Tilt it a little bit.
Degree angle to the gum line. Move the brush in small circular movements.
There's those circular motions.
A few times on each tooth.
And make sure you're getting each tooth, not like a full group. Like you're not doing all of your front teeth at once in one fell swoop. Focus on each individual tooth at a 45-degree angle and in small circles.
Next, brush the outer surfaces of each tooth.
Now you get to
keeping the
the
bristles
flat
angled against the gum line.
and get up into the gum line.
Do the same thing for the inside surface.
How many of you brush the inside of your teeth? How many of you brush the inside of your teeth, the backside? You do, Sleepy? Ivy, you brush the insides? Good, good. Brow raises their hand. Back molars are hard to hit, Ivy. You try to go parallel. Sometimes you have a difficult time making sure you're doing it right. It can be. And oftentimes we're like distracted or we're tired because it's just before bed. You may not be able to do it right all the time. As long as you're making the attempt. So yes, get the inside of all teeth the same way.
Now, brush the biting surfaces of the teeth on the top and the bottom.
Yep. And you see they're still doing that sort of circular motion and getting each individual tooth.
To clean the inside surface of the front teeth, tilt the brush vertically for the
vertically, not horizontally, on the inside of the teeth.
Upper teeth.
So you can more easily get
Gently
each individual
move the
tooth.
brush long ways down the tooth from the gum for a few seconds. For the lower teeth, tilt the brush vertically and pull the toothbrush gently upwards from the gum for a few seconds.
Like you're petting a dog, like you're petting a badger.
If plaque is not removed from the teeth, it leads to bleeding gums and tooth loss. If
Hi Chai Kwan, welcome. We do recommend an electric toothbrush that has 4 30-minute times, automatic a lot of things. Yes, we talked about this in a previous lesson about creating good habits. The brain loves shortcuts. The brain doesn't want to think too much. The more that the brain can offload thinking into automatic habits or offload them into some other device or person that tells you what to do and when to do it. Like I have a Google Calendar that has everything I do almost all day planned out so that I don't have to think about it. If you have an electric toothbrush that automates some part of your day, then it might be worth it for you. Yeah, and the brushing vertically. Because it helps you get up towards those gums. And a lot of people, we just do horizontally, right? We just mash the toothbrush back and forth really fast across the surface of the teeth, trying to hit all of them at once and just going back and forth. But nope.
If you eat or drink sweet things, plaque mixes with the sugar and causes tooth decay.
And that's bad. Those are the teeth opening up holes for bacteria and viruses to get you sick. You recommend closing the mouth a bit in order to reach all the way back there. Your dentist gave you that good tip? Yep. Yeah, it's hard sometimes to open your mouth wide enough to like see, because we try to like see back there. But you don't need to, open your jaw all the way like a snake. Chaos, your short 4 teeth in the back, or just teeth that got pulled.
Finally, spit out any remaining toothpaste. Do not rinse the mouth with water or any kind of mouthwash.
That's an answer to one of the questions people had. What about mouthwash? This video, which is by the NHS, there's going to be 2 opinions about this. I'll get to them in just a sec. This is the National Health Service. This is the NHS in the UK. They say do not rinse the mouth with water or mouthwash after you brush. Because the NHS says you use mouthwash before. Use mouthwash before you brush your teeth, according to the NHS.
Wash. In this way, the fluoride in the toothpaste will help protect the teeth.
Right. Because a coating of fluoride from the toothpaste is going to still be on the teeth and go through that process of remineralization to help protect it. So the NHS says don't use mouthwash or rinse after you brush. You do it beforehand. But that's just what the NHS says.
Hey, friends.
Wait a minute.
Before.
Oh, another video started. Then you drink a glass of OJ. No, you don't. You do not drink a glass of OJ. You do not drink a glass of OJ. However, in the US, places like the Mayo Clinic, Harvard Medicine, our health institutions say you do after. Why is that? Well, it's because a lot of mouthwashes that we use also have fluoride. And we have fluoridated water. So we tend to say here, these healthcare institutions and health research say you can use mouthwash after. I tend to do it beforehand. I follow what the NHS says because I don't like the mouthwash taste in my mouth after I brush. I prefer to get the mouthwash done and over with beforehand and then brush my teeth. There are a couple different types of mouth rinses though. Obviously there are the therapeutic or just the regular. These help to reduce the plaque. They loosen it up. So this is also a reason you might want to rinse beforehand. Swishing your mouth around with that mouthwash can help to break up the larger food particles and help to loosen up and start to break down that stuff that's stuck on your teeth that you can then get off more thoroughly with the toothbrush. And this, of course, is not a substitute. This is not a substitute for brushing and flossing. It is meant to augment it, to help it out. Of course, if this is all you have time for throughout the day, you're rushing if you don't have time to brush your teeth, or you're going to go on a date or something, or I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't know about that. Anyway, if you don't have the time, then sure, just use mouthwash if that's what you got. Do what you can. You just noticed the frog? Yeah, that's you. You can pick a different one if you want. That's a stream avatar. If you're on mobile, you can tap the screen and there's a little panel that you can pick. If you're on browser, you can scroll down. But yeah, we have all the Animal Crossing characters. We have a bunch of anime, all of the Pokemon generations. You can pick any of those you want. Yeah, I tend to go with the NHS recommendation. Use mouthwash beforehand. Of course, there are some concerns with mouthwash. Number one is that mouthwash containing alcohol can dry your mouth out. And there's some concern that it might kill the good bacteria in your mouth. I don't necessarily know about that, but mouthwash with alcohol is not recommended. And it burns anyway, so I don't like it. That's my personal recommendation. But yeah, other people also recommend against alcohol-based mouthwash. Of course, there are whitening mouth rinses too, the last one I want to touch on. There are mouth rinses that claim that they can help whiten your teeth, and there is some evidence that they do. The real question then is it worth the cost to you? Well, I don't know. Only you can answer that. If it's worth it for you to pay the extra money to get a whitening tooth mouth rinsed, then sure, go ahead. And for most of these mouth rinses of any kind, the directions are more or less the same. You swish it around vigorously in your mouth for the full 30 seconds, and then you spit, don't swallow. You spit, don't swallow. Spit, don't swallow. I say that because some people try to drink mouthwash to get drunk, which is wild to me. But that was something I actually experienced with people in basic training because they didn't have access to alcohol in basic training. You're not allowed. So there were recruits who would actually drink mouthwash. Haichi talks about the ADHD tax. Yes. If it improves your life, it's worth it. That's a very good point. I've talked about this a little bit before. I was only diagnosed this year with ADHD. Made it through my whole life not realizing, hey, why is stuff so much harder for me? But yeah, there can be a tax that is paid that people with ADHD tend to deal with. Yes, I've heard of lean. I have heard of lean, Empress. Have you? Oh, but now we get to flossing. And I don't mean a Fortnite dance. I mean flossing with the string. Why should you floss? What's so important about this? You tell me, class. I want you to tell me. Why would flossing be so important? What about the spot that floss goes that is so important? Why does it help so much? That's some wonderful Night in the Woods music, please. Getting a lot of good answers there, yep. These bristles are wider, teeth spaces are tiny, filled with horrors, between the teeth where the brush doesn't reach as well. Spot that has tricky leverage. Flossing takes the missed plaque and prevents cavities. Fantastic answer, Sleepy. Let's go look at one of these visuals that we have. Look at where the plaque tends to accumulate. Yuko, you say this is also really beneficial for those wearing braces. Yes, it is very hard to get into those tight spots. I had traditional braces when I was a kid. It sucked. I hated it so bad. It didn't work that well for me. I ended up just last year actually doing they were plastic aligners, and they did a way better job for way less pain. I wish we had those when I was much younger. But yes, look at this spot where the tooth meets the gum, how this is where the plaque tends to accumulate. Yes, you can brush this top part and the sides, which we tend to get with the toothbrush. But down here is where the plaque and tartar tends to build up. We see white on the top of the teeth and we think, well, we've cleaned them. We think we've got it. But we're missed all of this stuff, this ring around the tooth. Like ring around the collar. Many of you wear suits and ties like I do. This beautiful red. Oh, did you notice? I'm wearing my tooth-colored suit today with the red gums. All right. Yes. We do see here, though, that a good 41% of people do floss. So flossing is not that uncommon. You might think, well, not that many people floss. It's got to be inconvenient. No, a good chunk of people do. But if you add up these people who only do a month, a few times a month or so, it's still a lot of people who don't as much as they should. So how do we floss? How are we supposed to floss? Just like with the how to brush, go through this step by step. Now this says take about 50 centimeters. I don't know how much that is. I don't know how long 50 centimeters is. Like, what does that even mean? That's a centimeter. Like if you were reading a book and it said like, he inched closer to her. In Britain, in England, is it like he 2.54 centimeter towards her? Yeah, 50 centimeters of floss. You wind one side around each of your fingers, kind of like you're going to use a garrote and choke someone. Okay, yeah, even I now need to look up. 50 centimeters in inches. Okay, so about 20 inches. Good, good. Sleepy Tea, you buy the ones with the little plastic picks that you see on the right? Yes. Those can be very convenient, effective for people who have trouble with the hand motion. I tend to prefer those as well. What you do if you're using traditional floss, you wrap it around each of your pointer fingers or your middle finger, and with it nice and tight, you get in between the teeth. Not all the way, like you don't want to snap it up, you don't want to pull it between the teeth. It can be very hard because it might be a very tight space, and you try and force it in between the teeth and it suddenly breaks through and goes way up into the gum. No, you don't want to pull it that hard. Make sure you get it in between the tooth gently. Once you're there though, it's not just a side-to-side motion. Not just, perpendicular to the gap, back and forth. You curve it around, and you do get up into the gum line. I know that seems strange. I know it might feel strange, but you get it up into the gum line where all of that plaque and tartar is. Because if we go back and see this plaque and tartar extends down into the gum line. And that's exactly where the inflammation is going to be. That's where that gross plaque and tartar rubbing up against the gum, inflaming it, spreading those bacterial droppings. So you get that floss down in there and you scrape off all that junk. You can get back all the way there if you can open your jaw wide enough. Open your mouth real wide and get to the back of that molar. For the picks, it can be pretty easy because you can get it pretty quickly through all of your teeth. A lot more convenient. In this case, the extra cost of the picks tends to be worth it. At least it is for me, certainly. And you can do the same thing. Not necessarily just side to side, but you curve it around so it gets around that tooth plaque, that ring around the tooth. We'll also show a little animation. What's 1 cubit? Okay, that I get. It's a bushel, it's a peck, it's a cubit, it's a ofer, or whatever that other one was. But we'll see this quick little animation of how to properly flow. Wow, that's a horrifying 3D person, though, right? See the length of... Pulls it taut. It's in between the teeth. You see the sort of curve? Yeah, there we go. Curving it around to get the ring of plaque. Curving around to each side. A third of a fathom. That's pretty long. Yeah, that's the big thing with flossing, is getting that side to side and up into the gum line. The last things we're going to talk about, I've talked about the specifically tooth care. We talk about lifestyle stuff. Stuff that we eat and drink. Food and drink plays a serious role because obviously that's the stuff that puts the sugar on our teeth in the first place. Acidic foods like orange juice, they can really increase the amount of abrasiveness on the tooth. It's already acids that are the problem for the most part. And coffee obviously can just stain your teeth. Carbonated beverages, they erode the enamel. I mean, Coca-Cola can strip the paint off a car. Imagine what it can do to your teeth bones. Sugary foods obviously are a problem. Obviously, candy is going to be bad for your teeth, we know that. But it's especially sticky stuff. That sticks to the tooth, obviously, and then that sugar has a really easy time eating away at your tooth. And I am continuing to lob my big bombs at Big Soda. They might come for me, but they will have to get into my den and face my sharp claws. Hard foods can also damage the teeth and give a vector for bacteria and stuff to get in there. Yuko, you stopped drinking carbonated beverages. Yeah, it is not good for you in multiple ways. But I'm not going to harp on this stuff too much. We're going to eat and drink normally what we do. But just think about it. Maybe cut down a little bit on acidic juices. Maybe eat a little less sticky, sugary foods. Cut down on your soda. I'm not going to tell you how to live your life with your diet, but keep it in mind. Lifestyle, which is primarily talking about smoking and drinking. Does milk help the mouth empress? Primarily just in terms of the vitamin D and calcium. You're not giving up your caffeinated beverages, Cyrus. That's all right. You don't have to give everything up. Dugo, you have to leave. No problem at all. Have fun on the rest of your weekend. I hope it's good. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm glad I could give you some useful information. Hope to see you next time. But let's take a look at this pretty startling graph. Obviously, between smokers and non-smokers, the amount of people who have poor oral hygiene if they smoke, it's much, much higher. I probably didn't need to tell you that, but I did anyways. that smoking is terrible for your teeth. It stains your teeth, leads to infections, breaks down the enamel. It's bad. If you're having trouble quitting smoking, there are so many great resources out there. I can link them at the end if you want. But there's also alcohol and drug abuse. Have serious effects on your teeth. People who drink in excess, and we've talked about what that means. We talked about alcohol use and how a high amount of alcohol use is much, much lower than people think it is. But they are 3 times more likely to lose their teeth. People who drink more than they should when they reach that age of 65 and up, retirement age, they are many of the people who make up that awful statistic that we had at the start. And, you know, if you think, well, when I get older, maybe I'll lose 1 or 2 teeth. No, a full 33% of an alcoholic's teeth are at risk of disease. Alcohol consumption is the leading cause of oral cavity cancer and throat cancer. That is more on the oral health side of things, not the dental health specifically, but it's worth mentioning. Talked a little bit earlier about creating habit, right? How often are we supposed to do this? When do we do it? Well, we heard before, it's 2 times a day. You don't have to do it before or after every meal. But one of those 2 times a day should be before bed, so that your teeth are protected through the night. If you are brushing your teeth after a meal, it shouldn't actually be right away. It shouldn't actually be immediately. It should be about a half hour after. As I said, this type of routine is more than dental health. Our brains love habit. Creating habits creates a sense of control, a sense of mastery over our lives. Feeling like we have more control over ourselves and reduce the anxiety we feel about all the things that we can't control. This can help our sense of helplessness that many of us have in a very difficult world where so many things feel out of our control. And starting one good habit makes it easier to start another. Every single time that you're able to do this, every single time that you're able to do your daily routine, your nightly habit before bed, where you put your phone away for a half hour before bed, wash your hands, brush your teeth, spend 5 minutes reading a book, just a few pages of whatever book you want to read, which gets you ready for bed. Every single time you do that, it's going to reinforce it, and it's going to help you delay gratification more. In the world right now today, not being able to delay gratification is a major problem. It can be very hard for us to wait. We want things that are going to immediately give us that dopamine boost, give us that serotonin. It's hard to wait. Learning to delay gratification, to spend time to get things that are better. You know, it's that you might have heard of the study of, they used marshmallows, where they gave a kids from poor backgrounds and kids from wealthier backgrounds. They sat them down and said, you can have a marshmallow right now, or if you wait 5 minutes, you can have 2 marshmallows. It was something like that. I'm simplifying. Many more of the kids from poorer backgrounds did not want to wait. They took the 1 marshmallow first and did not wait to get the greater amount. Harder to delay our gratification because we feel like we're going to miss out. It's hard for us to wait to get something better. Feel like we want it now. So these kinds of routines where you get benefit over the long term, you know, like working out, for example, exercise, it sucks in the moment, but you know that you're going to get something better out of it in the long term. Having a good dental health habit each night might feel inconvenient now, but the benefit you're going to have when you're hitting 30, hitting 45, hitting 65, you're going to wish you did. You know, I was recently wrapping up my current degree, my most recent degree, and all of my fellow students, you know, they're 18, 19, 20. This is their first degree, older than them. And they say, well, you know, I look as young as they do, or they look even older because, well, they're doing the traditional university experience. They're drinking a lot. They're sleeping very poorly. And I tell them, you know what? Drink water, stretch out, put on sunscreen. And why? Because trust me, you're going to thank me later. Because in 10 years, you're going to wish you had. You're going to wish you stretched a little bit each day and drank more water and got better sleep and put on sunscreen. If you don't know how important sunscreen is, you should go back and watch our VOD of the summer health. But anyways, yes, our brain loves habit. Start reinforcing good habits today. So here's our Q&A, here's our quiz at the end. First question. Tell me about brushing form. Give me one thing about brushing form that you remember from that lesson. Ghost Pepper remembers not to forget the inside of the teeth. Yes, those back teeth, where the plaque and bacteria can hide. BPT, you tilt the toothbrush at the 45-degree angle. Soft bristles, fluoride toothpaste, very good. It does take a brush, enemy, you're true, you're right. I think they used to use like boar bristles, wild pigs. Rao remembers that you need to get the high angles, but has some trouble with it. What about plaque? Tell me what plaque is. And while you're thinking about that, do you remember how common gum disease was once you hit 30? What is plaque? And how common is gum disease in people 30 and older? Enemy, that's a good question. I've thought about that too. Ghost Pepper says 50%. Wes says 57% gum disease. Sleepy T describes plaque as debris from food leftovers made from acidic sugars. Yep. You're right, Sleepy T. And once it hardens, what's it called? What's plaque called once it hardens? How does higher sugar diet bear on this? Nomi says. See a whole lot less tooth and gum damage in a low carb diet. You're right. Yep. Very sugary diets, and it's just more sugar for the bacteria to feed on. Bit Rao and Sleepy Tea do get it correct. It is tartar sauce, tartarus, where T-Rex is held. Yes, it's tartar. And tartar definitely contributes to your cavities. So, what was the percent? What was the percent for gum disease age 30 and up? 50%. Half of people 30 and up have some stage of gum disease.
Young young Flapjack here has a touch of blindness.
There's
He
the
thinks it's
Flapjack clip.
temporary.
Blindness, eh? Better fetch my examining tool.
What's the proper rinsing procedure? How do you properly rinse? No, you were right on there, Sleepy T. It was around 50%. With the hose, enemy says. You get that mouth rinse connected to a hose and just blast your face with it. So yes, rinsing 30 seconds, swish it around vigorously 30 seconds, and then spit, don't swallow. Yep, right, Wes, spit, don't swallow. The NHS, the Brits say don't do it after you brush. Or, yeah, you can do it either way, but there are... Oh, why did my mask come? Oh no. No drinking mouthwash. Do not drink the mouthwash. That's true. That's bad. Do not drink the mouthwash. So your homework, your takeaway, and you know I hate homework. I don't like assigning it. I give you something easy every time. Your homework, yes, and alcohol dries the alcohol in the mouthwash can dry your mouth out. So your homework is to make one change. Add one thing to your routine to improve your dental health. It can just be following the better brushing instructions that we had. But do at least one thing. If you want to do more, like Wes is going to do more. But come back next time and tell me one thing you changed from your dental health routine. Sleepy T having a 2-minute song is good. My favorite 2-minute song is Poison from Aspen Hotel, even though I've never seen the show. I think it's 2 minutes and 15 seconds. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. That's all it takes. Perfect song. Very helpful, Demon Warrior says. I'm glad to hear it. Was hoping this would be useful, since it does apply to almost everyone. Well, class. Anybody have any questions, comments, feedback, suggestions, insults, criticism, rude hand gestures, whatever you got? Brow would help, yeah, if you saw the dentist more than once every 15 years. That's very tough. It can be very tough. Even though I have full coverage with the VA, I don't get dental insurance. Iris, you say your favorite 2-minute song is The Absolute Universe Forevermore by Transatlantic. But you're welcome, Demon Warrior. It's very rewarding for me. Shepard, you brush your teeth in the shower because it can be messy. It might be a time saver to do 2 things at once. I don't know how expensive a pair of dentures are. Let's actually see that. We didn't talk about dentures. If you've progressed past the stage of gum disease, then you're getting into the bones are being affected, in which case dental professional care is really your one option. That's going to be not something you can handle on your own. Dentures, it says, costs conventional dentures per arch up to $3,000. And that's for one arch, so $5,000 to $10,000 for both top and bottom. I mean, just one arch. Prices have gone up. Yeah, that seems to be a common theme in the world right now. Prices go up, income go down. But if that is all you have for questions, congratulations, you completed our dental health class. Your certificate of completion will be available in the Discord if you want it. I will send it to you. How do you motivate yourself into brushing your teeth while having stress and a tired day? As far as stress goes, you can try to think of your ritual, your bedtime ritual where you brush your teeth, as something that should be relaxing. It's a time when you're not looking at your phone, you're not thinking about what's stressing you out. Take that 1 minute of breathing that we did at the start. You take your 1 minute breathing practice. You brush your teeth, think of it as a massage for your gums. A nighttime ritual should help you get to sleep, and we will have these certificates ready for you after. Yeah, Rao, even the worst dark magic practitioners, they do have the proper rituals. But that's all we have for you today for our lesson portion. If you're watching on the VOD, thank you so much for watching along. I hope you learned something. I hope you got something out of this and that you will be back next time if you can join us live. If not, catch us on the VOD. Follow the YouTube channel. Come join us on Twitch where you can use your redeems to hit me with stuff. Have lots of fun with our fellow classmates. Join our Discord. Follow us on the socials. Thank you for following along the lesson and being so attentive. If you like what we do, if you learned something, you can click on the follow button, and in the upper portions of the screen, you will see a link to the full playlist of our VODs. Check those out. I will see you next time.